Precinct 1.
Present.
Marty Van Ravensway, Commissioner, Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner, Precinct 3.
Here.
Yay!
And it's a great place to be today.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner, Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
I will say that I'm very glad to have you back, although I am going to be significantly constrained by having both of y'all here and my ability to spread out.
Yes.
I have enjoyed that opportunity in the past, and now I'm going to be constrained by my two partners. Yes, I know. We're going to have to put the tape out here.
We've been trying to rein you in for 2 years.
I understand that. I understand that.
Well, Commissioner Brooks, like I told you earlier today, I'm pretty sure that liver I got was a Republican liver.
I have it on good
I'm not
authority.
singing like I was earlier.
I have it on good authority that liver voted for Barack.
Well,
Yeah, he doesn't have the rhythm to show it, I'll say
I don't
that.
have that rhythm like I had. So.
Our invocation today will be delivered by Pastor Ray Martinez from Waves of Faith Church in Fort Worth. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges. Welcome.
Lord Almighty, we do pause for a moment. We realize that whether it's the solar system or our day-to-day affairs, everything truly revolves around you. We ask for your grace this morning as decisions are made. We're thankful for Commissioner Gary Fickus being back. Some of the smallest things can be the biggest things, and we thank you for everything. We do ask that you give the commissioners wisdom, understanding. We know that their decisions are difficult at times, not always the most popular, but allow them to think wisely, to truly seek to do what's best for everyone. We do thank you again for this time that decisions can be made and things can be heard, for those freedoms and rights that we do have. Allow us to be responsible with those that we are privileged to have. We thank you, we praise you. It's in the name of the authority of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor Ray Martinez, for being here today. Manius, agenda announcements?
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have 3 announcements for you this morning. First 2 deal with the Administrator's Office. Item A4, we have a new court communication, actually just some change in the wording of the letter. It should be in your red folder. If you're using an electronic court book, it's in your file already. Also, members of the Court, under A11, we're going to ask that be considered after closed session today. And then under purchasing, item 9H2, this concerns the sale of recycled paper. Once again, there is a new court communication in your file, in your folder this morning as it relates to that particular item. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Commissioner.
Glad to be here.
Court, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of April 22nd.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes.
Get the vote now.
You got to get your vote in here now. We got you back. You got to start voting.
I've been voting for you.
That's right. He's been reaching over on those buttons. You have voted no on a couple of things, but you've been overruled. Next, we have three proclamations today. The first proclamation is for the National Day of Prayer, and I believe Ruth Hatton and Karen Grazer and Gary Kurtz are here. So if y'all come forward, let me read that proclamation into the record, and then we'll give y'all an opportunity to speak to it also. Whereas now, over 400 years ago, on April 29, 1607, Reverend Robert Hunt gathered a group of English settlers on a sandy beach in Cape Henry, Virginia, planted a simple cross in the sand, and led the colonists in prayer in dedication of the land we know today as the United States of America. The prayer foundation of this nation has been the source that has continually guided the American people, given us strength, shielded and sustained us for generations. Whereas the National Day of Prayer was first declared in 1775 by the Continental Congress, which asked the colonies to unite in prayer to offer thanksgiving to God as they recognized the need for direction and wisdom in informing our nation, and looked to God alone as the source of all power, guidance, provision, and protection. And whereas the Congress by Public Law 100-307, as amended and signed by President Ronald Reagan in 1988, designated that the National Day of Prayer be observed each year on the first Thursday in May all across this nation, and whereas we join with others across the nation to celebrate the theme set forth by the 2007 National Day of Prayer Committee for the 57th annual celebration, Prayer, America's Shield, Strength and Shield, and the scripture for the event, Psalms 28:7, "The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and I am helped." And whereas we recognize the importance of this day and the rich heritage of prayer and faith in God, we also look to him alone to be our strength and our shield. We ask that he would forgive us and restore us. We ask for him to give guidance at this crossroad in history, to elect and place into positions in all levels of leadership the ones who will honor God and respond to the wisdom from above, so that our hope may be renewed, our safety secured, and our blessings abound. Whereas citizens of many denominations recognize the importance, privilege, and responsibility that we have to pray, will come together with one voice in gathering throughout the day to pray for our nation, those at war, those at home, those in leadership, and for God's continued direction, protection, favor, and blessings over this nation and its people. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners' Court of Tarrant County, do recognize May 1st, 2008 as the 57th Annual National Day of Prayer in Tarrant County. In witness whereof, we have heretofore set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 22nd day of April, 2008. And I move its approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ruth? Thank you very much. Any comments that y'all would like to make, please feel free.
My only comment is that I would just invite everyone here to participate on National Day of Prayer. There are over 20 events listed on the national website in Tarrant County alone, and Karen Grazer here is hosting an event in Hearst, and we chartered a bus, and we're going all over the county praying for our churches and our schools and our people and neighborhoods on that day. So we would just invite everyone to join us and bless you on that National Day of Prayer this Thursday.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next is our Teen Video Fest Grand Prize winners. Commissioner Brooks?
Yes, Your Honor. We've got some very talented kids in this community, and I'm continually amazed when I see the videos that they put together at the behest of the Public Health Department to highlight various health issues in our community. This is the 10th year for the Teen Video Fest, and I would ask that you read the proclamation into the record.
Whereas Teen Video Fest, now in its 10th year, continues to challenge creative teens to speak out through video on aspects of teen health that directly affect them and their peers, and whereas Tarrant County youth ages 13 through 19 produce short videos or 30-second public service announcements that they write, act in, videotape, and edit with no direct adult help, and whereas the teens select from either the mental health, the physical health, or the public service announcement category a specific topic of special interest and significance to them, and whereas participation in the Teen Video Fest has grown steadily each year, with 249 teens producing 140 video entries this year, and whereas a panel of adult and youth judges are selected based on their involvement with teen programs or health issues that affect youth and base their selection on international standards with criteria weighted toward content and presentation, and whereas first, second, third places and honorable mention awards are given in each of 2 general categories, as well as in public service announcement category, and whereas, in addition, Technical Excellence Awards and the Best Junior Filmmaker Award is given, as well as a grand prize for the best video among all the first-place winners, and whereas Drake Hull, Jeremy Lester, and Tyler Tischel of the Ben Barber Career and Technology Academy in Mansfield are the 2008 Teen Video Fest Grand Prize winners for the video titled Talk About It. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby commend Drake Cole, Jeremy Lester, and Tyler. Am I saying that right? Is it Tischel? Turhall. Well, good. It's not just my pronunciation. For their prize-winning video, and further, we commend all 249 Tarrant County teens who devoted hours of their time to participate in the annual Teen Video Fest program that helps communicate important health-related messages to their peers. And further, we recognize Lone Star Film Society, which for the second year served as the lead partner, and Teresa Moncrief for her outstanding service as chair of the 2018 Video Fest Planning Committee, in witness whereof we have heretofore set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 29th day of April, 2008.
And I'll move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and we will get that typo corrected so that you have a proclamation that has your name spelled correctly. So we will take care of that from that standpoint. If there's no other discussion, please vote. The motion passes unanimously.
I'm going to ask Doug Fabio to meet me at the podium and receive the proclamation and introduce our award winners and the winning video.
Could we, Commissioner, please get the members of the grand prize winning team that are here today to look with us? Commissioner, get a picture.
That tall one in the back.
Well, of course, the grand prize winning video's title was Talk About It, and these are teen health messaging videos that deal with the teen health issues. And I think we're going to be able to now view this grand prize winning video. So, without further ado, we'll let.
You hope without further ado.
The right category.
Okay. Last time, remember, we were
talking about teen pregnancy. How about some of you young ladies? I'm sure that you've got some things. Obviously, this is probably something that you've thought about, right? And we were talking about the consequences of teen pregnancy. Okay, and I asked you to think about that a little bit. About all the time we have for today. I'll see y'all next time, and we'll carry on with this conversation.
Hey guys. Hey, what are you doing? Nothing, just passing through class.
You been up to?
No, not much. We're just sitting.
Where you are right now?
I don't know. Walk around. Do some school.
So, I saw you with that guy. Pretty cute.
Hey, who's that girl you're with?
My chick.
Girl?
Yeah, she looks hot, dude. Online, like. When I saw her, like, yeah, I don't know if that was your girlfriend or not. Not to be disrespectful.
Oh yeah, we've been going out for like 4 months.
How long have you been going out with her? A couple of months.
So, has anything happened?
Smashed on her already?
No, not yet. We're not ready. We're not ready.
Nah, not yet. What? Nah, it's not. You have it?
Well, I'm just definitely not ready.
Well, how can we just on this? Take it today after school or Friday after school? Just start messing around. Just do what you have to do, man.
Okay, so I'll see you guys later for your go. All right, we'll see you later. Bye.
Hey, what's your name? Yeah.
We need to get videos of IU out. There's a long one and on there.
We're working on it. Okay. You probably heard that. But you may have to go back there. Okay. While he is finding the right one, we'll go on to the next resolution, and then we'll come back and show the video from that thing. Our next our proclamation is National Donate Life Month. Would you like for me to read that into the record?
I'm going to go down there and read it.
Great.
If that's okay.
That's even better.
We got a bunch of proclamations, a bunch of things here to do. Let me get everything straightened out here. First thing, I'm thrilled to be back here today. It's been quite an adventure, and I want to especially thank two people that are here, but my family, and my wife and one of my sons are here. Kathy, would you stand up? She has been my what we call caregiver.
But it's not a performance.
Made it possible for me to be here. I mean, really, to be here.
Do not drive,
My son,
operate
Corey,
heavy machinery.
who was many times. And my daughter Jennifer is not here, or my son Chris is not here, but both of them were there constantly, and it's just, and that's what makes things happen. And everybody here in the room who thought of me, prayed, sent me a card, whatever, it all worked. Okay? It really worked. So thank you so much. This morning, we are going to do a proclamation, and we're going to National Donate Life Month, which is in April. And we're going to do a couple things. We have somebody here very special we have people here from Life Gift, and we have Ron Earl. Is Ron here? Okay. Ron, why don't you kind of come up this way? And then we have Teresa Schaefer. Is Teresa here? Come on, why don't you come on up also? And then we have, who I'm going to call a very special person, is Sharon Homan. Is Sharon here? Okay, Sharon, would you come up, please? The reason why Sharon is a very special person is because she is what we call a donor family. Her mother, Miss Susan McCarthy, passed away, and Sharon was part of the process that donated those organs along with her mother to somebody who could use them. And I'm going to read a letter. There was when you have a transplant, you're asked to write a letter, if you want to the donor family. And it's kind of an anonymous letter. You don't tell your name. You don't tell what organ you got. It's a very anonymous letter. And this is a letter I came across, and I wanted to share this with you. In 2007, I became aware that a transplant would be my only option for any type of long-term survival. At the time, it seemed very natural to develop a patient-physician relationship and to look upon the doctor as a real hero, the person who would see me through this ordeal. Within a very short period of time, I started to realize that the real hero is not the doctors, the nurses, or the staff. It's the donor and the donor family. You have grieved with the loss of a loved one, and we have grieved for the pain you endured. You have made probably the toughest decision in your life by sharing the gift of life. This decision made it possible for the removal of vital organs. Those vital organs, in turn, have made it possible to extend life for many of us. I'm 3 weeks into my new life. The doctors say I'm progressing very well. I can assure you that I feel like the luckiest guy around. Whether we ever meet or not, you will always be my hero. May you continue to be comforted, knowing that your decision made it possible for others to live with a new appreciation of life. Along with my family, I thank you for the gift of life you've given to me. Now I'm going to read the information. This is to National Donate Life Month. Whereas more than 95,000 people in the United States are in need of an organ or transplant, with hundreds more added each month. And whereas every day about 77 people get the gift that gives them a second chance at life, while nearly 20 die because a donor was not available. Whereas National Donate Life Month was established in 2003 to recognize the tremendous generosity of those who have saved lives by donating organs, tissues, marrow, and blood, as well as to encourage more Americans to follow their fine example. And whereas the gift of life touches all people, as a single organ and tissue donor can help more than 50 people of all ages and creeds, and from all cultures and social backgrounds. And whereas during the month of April, all citizens of Tarrant County are encouraged to complete a donor card and share this decision with family members so they can take the first step in eliminating the national waiting list for an organ transplant. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2008 as National Donate Life Month in Tarrant County to draw public attention to this great need. At this time, I want to present this to Ms. Holman.
And you're moving its approval.
Second.
And we need to move for approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Also, we have other things. We have a flag that was flown over the Capitol in Austin in memory of your mother. Also, if y'all go outside, this pamphlet, Donate Life. If you have the desire, please fill it out, or you can go on the website, which is donatelifetexas.org. So many people would appreciate that. Who wants to do that?
I just wanted to say on behalf of the McCarty family that we thank the Life Gift and the Commissioner's Office here and giving us a chance to come and speak on behalf of our family, and that how important it was for us to make that decision to donate my mother's organs and the people that it helped. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a picture.
Good morning, esteemed commissioners.
Good morning, Teresa.
Pardon?
Good morning.
Good morning. Many past champions for Life Gift, and Judge Whitley, and in particular, Commissioner Fickus. So glad to see you here and healthy. I've been here many times in the past, and I'm pleased to be before you once more, speaking about Tarrant County's premier organ donation program, Life Gift Organ Donation Center. My name is Teresa Schaefer, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Life Gift. Life Gift is one of the 58 organ procurement organizations in the United States that coordinate our nation's organ donation and transplantation system. Life Gift has offices in Fort Worth, Houston, Lubbock, and Amarillo, and coordinates donations from over 200 hospitals in 109 Texas counties. Life Gift is also continues to be one of the most successful organ recovery programs in the United States. In fact, Life Gift's Fort Worth region has one of the highest organ donation rates in the United States. Last year, this region recovered organs from 118 organ donors, over 300 organs, the highest recovery rate in Texas. So we can be proud of Tarrant County's work. There are nearly 100,000 patients on the waiting list nationally, and about 8,000 of them are waiting here in Texas. We must recover every medically suitable organ that generous families have consented to donate for those who wait. But the number isn't 100,000, 50,000, 10,000, or even 300 or 118 that we should concern ourselves. The number we should be talking about is one. The number one. Every organ, every donor is critical, because if you're the one waiting for an organ, you don't care about the others, you care about the ones, that one. So why does Life Gift work so closely with hospitals, doctors, nurses, and yes, our elected officials? Because it's all about the ones. We cannot fail to recover every single organ that families in their time of grief have so generously agreed to donate. We work for the donor families, we work for the recipients, and if we do our job right, we save lives every time. It's just that simple. We are one community, and we really are our brother's keepers. Our mission is very simple. We save lives, and at those times when you as elected officials have joined Life Gift on critical issues, whether it's the crafting of legislation or promoting donor awareness events such as this, then you can say too that you've literally saved lives. It's that direct. It's all about families and communities and the power of giving. Thank you so much for this important proclamation. We thank you on behalf of our donor families and on behalf of the 8,000 patients waiting here in Texas for a second chance at life. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julie.
excuse me, just briefly, my name is Ron Earl. I'm the managing director for Life Gift here in Fort Worth. And although many of us have received applause here today, I want to kind of turn the tables around and ask you to applaud yourself for this reason. Is that recently the state of Texas passed a donor registry where an individual can go on to a website, can indicate their desire to become a donor, which has made it somewhat a little bit easier than what it had been in the past. I'm proud to say that Tarrant County up to this point is the only county in the state of Texas that has utilized the donor registry to recover a donor up to this point. And I'm also proud to say and be a citizen of Tarrant County. Tarrant County leads the state of Texas in the number of registrants on the state donor registry, which I think speaks volumes about the caring nature of our community. So I would ask that you give all of yourselves a round of applause for what you do.
And I too want to thank the family for your decision. I know that was a tough decision, and I also know in just the conversations with Commissioner Fickus and his family and friends that it was it's almost it's a real struggle, I think, in sitting there knowing that you're waiting for an organ, but that at the same time that in order for you to get that organ that someone has to pass, and it's a real struggle. You're hoping to get one, but at the same time you don't want to be hoping for someone to end their life. And that's a struggle, I think, that obviously the receiving individuals have. But again, we want to thank you very much for the thought that your family went through, and for at a time when it was a very hard time that you made those decisions and have allowed others to live as a result of that. So thank you very, very much.
Your Honor.
Are we ready?
We're ready to go to the video.
Okay, let's go to the video. Well, at least those names look like they're the same.
Son?
This isn't the mess you made. It's here to stay. And you're looking for hope, but nobody knows you're breaking on the inside. And you're walking alone. Figure it out that all the boys This isn't the mess that you made, but it's here to stay. Just pick yourself through the pain. You make it to another day where it changes from me and changes to you. You make it through, I swear to God, this is not all, it's not all for you. What a messed up world. Dump it all on this beautiful girl. Lend a helping hand, become a man so she can fight on her own. Surviving all this that you call home.
That was truly powerful.
Very, very good.
I hope kids listen.
Thank you all again very much, and congratulations on a great video, and on the job you did this year. This really is a great program, and as was mentioned in the resolution, more and more folks each year are participating, and some of the videos that we've seen come out of that are just, they're fantastic. I mean, they really are, and it's a program that we certainly want to continue and keep going with. So again, congratulations, and thank you all very much. We have before y'all the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius, while Mr. Manius is coming forward, I would like to announce that today is Tricia Ward's and Neil Strassman's birthday. So happy birthday. We happen to know these two for today, so there may be others. Are you going to do yours from your chair there this morning?
No, Your Honor. I'm going to ask Ms. Patterson to come forward, do item number 1. This concerns the severe weather that we had last week. I'd like for her to give the court an update on that, those incidences and how we responded to them.
Good morning.
Good morning. Needed some time to recover from that video.
Yeah, it was pretty moving.
Just a little report. What I put in front of you is a running log that you can see in E-Team. I've mentioned several times before that we have what we call a virtual emergency operations center, and there it is, right in front of you. You can see it as it's going on, as we're putting updates in. And we tried really hard to keep those updates coming in, so we're going to work on that a good bit more during this transition. We had an event last week, April 23rd. We had an F2 tornado, an enhanced Fujita scale 2, with had wind speeds of greater than 115 miles an hour, hit one of our neighborhoods in southwest Tarrant County in Commissioner Brooks's Precinct 1. It destroyed 3, possibly 4 homes. But the rest of the neighborhood is just as destroyed because they're the friends, they're the families. We say that we're affected in 16 different homes on those 2 different streets, but as I drove around following the event, there was a lot of debris for quite a good ways. Actually, half a mile was the last piece I counted with the trees. So we have those families being taken care of. Luckily, there were no fatalities, no major injuries, only minor injuries. We had a couple of little scrapes and scratches as we did the debris removal. But we did have our great team respond. We had the Fire Marshal's Office respond as incident commander. Randy Renoir was probably one of the first people out there. But prior to him, we had our Crowley Fire Department go out there. Just to show you what a team we have, we did get reports from them stating that it was in our area and that we had some people we needed to take care of. We called Burleson. Burleson has a mobile command unit, and we brought it down there. We made a request, and within an hour, it was delivered. So we actually had a place to operate out of. And I think in that mobile command unit, I'm going to ask for a pair of boots for all of you so you can traipse you around out there. I think I fussed at Mr. Manias, and I probably shouldn't have. But we are coordinators, trying not to be responders. It was really hard not to get out there and try to work with the people from the get-go. But because of what we do with the Emergency Management Office, we had to stay indoors and coordinate this response. Crowley arrived on scene and immediately reported walking wounded. Our Sheriff's Department showed up and reported the same thing, and that's when Mr. Renoir decided to respond. We didn't participate as much in response as the fire department did, and I didn't participate as much. Randy was out there as incident commander from the get-go and coordinated that type of response. And when the request was made to activate the Office of Emergency Management is when we actually got involved. You can see there at the times that it happened shortly before midnight, and we were awake a good bit of the night. But what we had to do, because of the severity of the situation, was set up a perimeter with the Sheriff's Department initially. Naturally, as soon as daylight broke, we had media wanting to respond and let everyone else know what was going on, but we also had family members of the family members showing up, and it's not a very large area, it's a pretty small area, and so we had some congestion of traffic. But we were able to get in. We were able very quickly to find every person that was involved. There were no people that were unaccounted for. And once we did actually see daylight, we saw that it was worse than we thought. We thought it was straight line winds, but now that we know that it was a tornado, we understand where the damage came from. I did send some pictures out, and I'll try to copy them and resend them just so that you can see what amount of damage we had down there. The incident command that we set up was because we were in unincorporated Tarrant County, and Randy coordinated those. But also his office coordinated the contractors on scene, coordinated the debris management on scene. And I will say that Precinct 1 did a phenomenal job. From the minute that they got there, as soon as daylight happened on the next day, on Friday, it took them less than 3 hours to get that neighborhood almost completely cleaned up. It was a completely different place than what we saw on the first day. We did have Red Cross respond and bring food and drinks and that sort of thing to the first responders out there, but also to their families, because when you have something like that happen, you don't stop what you're doing. We had every family member out there all day long, working all day long, trying to secure those valuables. And we did get word that there was a possibility of another storm the next day, so we were working really quickly to get that done as well. I wanted to mention a couple of the different players that we had there because of the coordination that we did. I promised to give some reports on what we're doing with the transition. We had public health with the possibility of giving some tetanus shots because we were out there. The Fire Marshal's Office, Crowley Fire Department, the Sheriff's Department, Fort Worth Office of Emergency Management provided a team to come out and do some damage assessment, and they also opened their EOC at midnight the night before in the event that we needed them to help coordinate. We had the Burleson Fire Department with their mobile command. We had Ray Reich's office helping with the disaster declaration, which we had to do in order to have authority over the ingress and egress of that neighborhood. And also because we didn't know what the extent of the damage was going to be from the get-go. But that provided some privacy and some assistance to the citizens. At the same time, we had the state establish a no-fly zone. We did have a number of helicopters above, but we also started to receive private citizens in small planes who wanted to view the incident, which, isn't bad in itself, but when you have 10 of those up there not really communicating with each other, we didn't want to end up with another disaster site. So we created that no-fly zone, which lasted 24 hours from the governor's office. The neighbors that were out there came from all over the place. There were so many people in there that it was hard to get a good count as to see who needed food and that sort of thing. And I'll mention again the Department of Emergency Management at the state level. Once we notified them that we did have a tornado, they sent a representative, they established that no-fly zone. They just waited for us to let them know if we needed anything else, and we didn't at the time. We handled the entire event ourselves with our partners locally. We did learn a few lessons, and we'll incorporate those into the future plans. But that's all I've got for you for now on this particular incident. Do you have any questions?
I just want to congratulate the whole Tarrant County team, including you, Melissa, and Randy, and GK, and the Precinct 1 work crews. As it turns out, that Friday was an off day for our crews. We worked 4 10s. But we called everybody in. They hit the ground running at 6:30, and by 11 o'clock, they had the neighborhood pretty well put back together. It was an extraordinary effort by all concerned, and
It was
I'm
amazing.
grateful.
It was amazing just to watch, just to be there at 6 and see the beginning and be there at 11:30, a completely different place. The neighborhood was very grateful to us.
So, Debbie, you need to find some overtime dollars, but I'm sure.
Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate it very much.
I'd just like to add one thing. We created and have always supported the Emergency Services District, but to see those both volunteer groups and also those fire departments that are part of that, how they responded, it was really something to behold. It worked very well. So, Your Honor, members of the court, then, if we could go to item number 2, we're going to request that the court receive and file the declaration of disaster for Tarrant County, which was issued by Judge Whitley on April 24th, 2008.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 3, this is an item that was brought to our office by Judge Elizabeth Berry from the Criminal District Court number 3. What this is an agreement between Tarrant County Criminal District Court number 3 and MB Reporting for court reporting services as it relates to CDC number 3. Judge Berry is in the courtroom and would be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I'm assuming that all of the other commissioners received emails, and I'm assuming that a lot of these, or most of them, are probably from other court reporters, but I guess the question I have, has the DA's office blessed the contract that is proposed here today?
The answer to that question is yes, we've signed off on it. This is not a 90% certainty type deal, though. There is an AG opinion. It was written in 1943 that is against this. However, that statute that they were dealing with required that a court reporter be paid a salary of $2,700 per annum. And as a result, the AG concluded in 1943 that you couldn't have a part-time court reporter because you couldn't pay him less than a per annum amount. So there's a lot of little moving pieces to this. We've tried to identify all of them, and yes, we have approved it, but it's not like this isn't a certain area. And we've had, a lot of debate about it internally and how we could make it better. And it's changed and modified a little bit from the first original idea that came up back, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I guess. But we have approved it. Yeah, we've signed off on it.
Well, Judge Berry and others, I'm not questioning your authority or what you're requesting. I just want to make sure when you get a response like this that we're legal in what we're doing and we're not setting a precedence throughout the state that we're going to have to end up backing up on.
Well, Commissioner, if I may address that question specifically, there is precedent not only within this county but around the state for this type of agreement. Within this county, there is a court reporter who is retired from full-time service who contracts with the county for part-time services. And this agreement that we've proposed is set up very similarly, other than that there would be two individuals as opposed to one individual providing those services. Both El Paso County and Bexar County have similar arrangements, and those arrangements even go further to the point that they provide benefits to those employees, and this contract obviously does not provide for that.
This basically, as I understand it, would be like our temporary employees, where the temporary employees do not receive benefits, do not receive time for.
This is a professional services.
Professional services type contract.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Thank you. I have a motion.
Thank you.
Inasmuch as it is, it appears to be permissive under Texas law, I would like to see the judges have the option to try it, to see whether it in fact works, whether it saves us dollars, whether it's efficient. So I would move approval of the contract.
I'll second. And is it my understanding, Judge, that there is another court that's doing this now?
Judge Furchel's
Yes,
court.
Judge Furchel in the probate court has his court reporter retired a number of years ago and now contracts to provide those services. So he draws a retirement, but also then is paid as a contractor.
We have a motion and a second. Other discussion?
I'm assuming if we're talking about two employees right now?
No, we're talking about, I believe, one employee who is about to retire and is interested in working part-time, and there's another employee. I guess that is the other person an employee at this time also?
No.
Former employee of Tarrant County?
And I'm assuming
kind of like a job share.
The current employee is, I'm assuming that this is something that person wants to do.
Right. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 4, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve a letter which authorizes the offering of PHI Air Medical Texas Air Ambulance Program memberships to the citizens of Tarrant County.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
This won't affect Care Flat's operation?
No, will not.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 5, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve the electronic submission to the Department of Health and Human Services SAMHSA program for a grant application as it relates to adult criminal justice treatment.
Move. Second. This is a part of our reentry initiative.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 6, we're requesting that the court approve the electronic submission of a grant application to the Department of Justice to add a case management component to our existing mental health jail diversion program.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 7, we're requesting that the court accept a supplemental funding from the Help America Vote Act. This is a grant award agreement that's given to us by the Secretary of State. The dollar amount is an additional $9,500.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, we're on item number 8. We're requesting that the court accept $3,427 in funding from the Department of Interior as it relates to 2 grants by the Texas Historical Commission for our Tarrant County Historical Commission.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 9, we're requesting that the court consider and approve an exemption to the Tarrant County travel policy as it relates to the county clerk's office.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please.
I'd like to say that we went to a meeting last week also in Rockwall, so I guess we will be asking for the same exception to the policy.
Yes, ma'am.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 10, we're asking for the court to consider and to approve an exception to the travel policy as it relates to the county judge's office.
Move approval.
I don't know about that.
For one of his employees, I believe. Thanks, right.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Vote. Quick. Motion passes unanimously.
Court, we're going to take item 11 up after the conclusion of the closed session.
Thank you. While Mr. Phillips is coming forward, I would recognize our past chair of State County Affairs Committee, the Honorable Glenn Lewis, back here in the back, and the new chairman of our Civil Service Commission. Glenn, thank you very much for being here and for taking on that job. We appreciate it. Mr. Phillips.
Good morning. It is requested that Commissioners Court approve a contract with Thomas S. Byrne for construction management pre-construction services for the Medical Examiner's Office project that was included in the 2006 Capital Improvement Program.
Move approval.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Ms. Glenn? You got here, didn't you?
I did. I did.
Yeah, they're a little
Good morning.
slow this morning. We got
I
too many
know,
people here.
I know.
Move approval to receive and file the personnel agenda.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
The only other item that we have for the court this morning, we're asking the court to rescind court order number 102935 and approve waiver of terminal benefits for the sheriff's office. This is an item that we brought to you last week, and you did, in fact, approve it. We discovered shortly after your approval that the position number was incorrect, and so we've now corrected the position number, and again, would ask your approval of the waiver.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Welcome back, Commissioner.
Thank you. Ms. Brewer. I don't see Ms. Brewer, so I have a feeling that somebody else is going to step forward. Maybe nobody's going to step forward.
Move approval of the memorandum of understanding between Tarrant County Public Health and the University of North Texas Health Science Center.
Whoops, they're standing up.
Too late.
I guess that means if we got any questions, you're there and ready, right?
Yes,
sir. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
We'll tell Ms. Brewer you were here.
Mr. Beecham, come on down. No, you need the exercise.
Your Honor, the members of the court, we have 2 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation in regards to bid number 2008-085. This is a bid for media eradication sale of L2 backup tapes. Recommendation will be to award to Media Recovery on a per-unit price basis.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our last item is a bid award recommendation for bid number 2008-092, the sale of recycled paper. Recommendation will be toward the high bidder, Southwest Paper, at the rate of $227.60 per ton.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You saw the Cowboy draft.
Sure.
Yeah, I did. I noticed that you guys sending somebody our way.
Arkansas, South Florida, A&M.
Dorsey did get drafted higher. I was trying to figure out how I was going to mention that he was drafted number 5. I think ahead of most of the Hogs, Aggies, and anybody else. Almost anybody. Although at least there was 4 other ones, I guess.
Oy vey.
I know it's I've only got one more year where my son's going to be there, and then after that I won't. But I just have this need that if I'm sending money there, I at least ought to get something out of it. Mr. Skinner, come on down.
Morning, members
Morning.
of the court. We request your approval of an amendment number 1 to an interlocal agreement between Tarrant County and the City of Everman regarding improvements related to the construction of the Wichita Street extension.
Move approval.
Second.
That's part of our bond program.
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
You have another one.
Y'all doing a tag team, huh?
I'm here this morning to request that Commissioners Court approve a proposal for professional services with Friesen Nichols for a drainage study and detention benefit analysis from Mayfair South Addition located in Precinct 1.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Interlocal agreements, Commissioner Fickus.
Well, we got a big one here. We got, this is at Midway Road, which is off of Highway 121. It's at the junction of where Haltom City, Richland Hills, and Fort Worth all come together. We have a railroad trestle that it was hit by a truck, we had to close the road down. And what we're doing, the city of Haltom City and the city of Richland Hills came to us with the T to talk about what we might do to fix this problem, and the only fix is to lower the road. So the city of Fort Worth agreed to join in and put money in, and everybody's putting funds into this, including the T, and we're going to fix this road, and we're going to lower it, and it'll allow truck traffic then to go back through that area and serve a fairly significant industrial area that brings quite a few taxes to those cities in the county. And so it's been a really fairly smooth process to get all this done, considering all the players involved. So I would move for approval on this interlocal agreement.
We have a motion and a second to approve item 9K1A through H.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Have before you the claim. Are there any appointments today? There being none, then you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. And briefing items, presentation by Downtown Fort Worth, Inc.
Your Honor, we have one item to bring to the court this morning. Mr. Phillips is here to lay the program out for you.
Several weeks ago, Downtown Fort Worth, Inc. called a meeting with the City of Fort Worth staff and the Tarrant County staff to discuss Paddock Park. Paddock Park is the 1-acre property that's just on the opposite side of the historic courthouse from here. The discussions revolved around Tarrant County taking a lead role in improving and providing the ongoing maintenance and upkeep of the park. There's at least a couple of reasons from my perspective that we might entertain this. Number one, there is a strong connection between Tarrant County and Paddock Park. We own a portion of the park, and also that's where our jail used to be, is on Paddock Park, before we built a brand new one in 1917. Also,
okay, I want to be sure I know what we're talking about there. When you mentioned jail, I mean, was it just a cell?
No, it was.
Or was there more than one? Now, we're talking about right there where if you're coming up Main Street, you go to the left Or the right, you go to the right.
That 2-block area.
Yeah, he's gonna show us. Is, that helped.
Oh, yeah. I looked there on that.
The jail is no longer there.
Where's the courthouse?
Right there.
Right,
Okay, wait a minute, wait a minute. Now, you wanna? That's what I thought.
Used to be a tunnel connecting the old courthouse and the jail.
Used to be a tunnel?
Used to be.
It's not still there?
No, it's not much left of it.
No gas wells on that one.
No, sir, I don't think so. No, sir. Anyway, there's a strong connection between Tarrant County. We own a part of the property, and also it was once a jail. Also, there's a strong attraction between the Tarrant County downtown Fort Worth downtown business campus. We have 16 acres down here that we manage. I think it would be a great enhancement to our properties because of the public. It would give the public a green space to go to and kind of de-stress those folks going to the courts facilities down here. So to talk more about Paddock Park, we have Randy Gideon, who represents Downtown Fort Worth, Inc.
I thought our de-stressed area was gonna be that area that caused all the stress over here between the government buildings. Go right ahead.
There'll be some.
Just jump right in there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me today. I am here without portfolio as the immediate past chair of Downtown Fort Worth, Inc., but representing them just the same because this is a very important project. Since the inception of our strategic planning processes for downtown, the gateways to downtown have been very important, and there's none more important than the historic gateway from North Main to downtown because of the prominence of that site in front of the historic courthouse. As David said, in 1917, the city acquired the location at 300 North Main Street for Paddock Park. It's almost an acre in size, and it's jointly owned by the city and the county. The park obviously serves as a very significant gateway on the North Main Street Bridge and Paddock Viaduct. Downtown Fort Worth, Inc. is approaching the city and the county concerning redesign of Paddock Park to create a more usable park space for people in downtown and enhanced gateway to downtown north, but also to make it a more pedestrian-friendly access point crossing Main Street through that area, to have access to the bluff and to things on either side of the county campus, translating along Belknap there. As you know, there's a lot of traffic that surrounds this site, and it's really very rather dangerous for pedestrians. The site itself, and I'll show you another picture of it here, I hope. There we go. Like many of our public spaces, over time, this site became a patchwork of public owners, and it's certainly not always to the advantage of the site. It doesn't really belong to anybody, but some people are very interested in seeing that it become a very important part of downtown, and that's Downtown Inc. is at the front of this effort. This
is
site,
that little square in the middle where the Tandy statue sits?
Yes, it is. That little square is in the middle. And I want to talk about that a little bit later because it's very important. This is the first, to remind you that Charles Tandy statue is a part of the agreement on Ripley Arnold and some other things. It may be on its way to TCU campus in a relocation. And Downtown Inc. is working we've actually gotten some funds to commission another piece of art for this particular site if that relocation takes place to match, to do some other type of recognition here. And we think it would be appropriate that it had some historical reference for the county and for Ripley Arnold, for Paddock Park, for Tarrant, for all the more historic fathers of Tarrant County and Fort Worth. This is the first time that the PID and Downtown Inc. have budgeted money for improvements. We do have money budgeted this year, $25,000 to put towards this project, and we're budgeting money in the PID for improvements to Belknap to make it easier to cross the street for people back and forth to the historic courthouse by putting larger extending the intersections, and we're talking about even trying to do the middle of the block to narrow the street there where the parking is, just to close it down to make it a shorter walk for pedestrians across Belknap. It also slows down traffic a little bit naturally by narrowing the street a little bit, and those would be landscape corners like they've done in some of the areas, other areas of downtown. Let's see if we've got another slide here.
Randy, could you go back for just one
Sure.
second? Who owns that triangle shape right there? Is it where Main Swanson? Yeah.
The one out in front,
Yeah,
to the
one-
north,
Yeah.
that's mostly right-of-way, I think, that the city owns. Our proposal, Your Honor, including that in this project. Because of the expense, we may not be able to do it right now, but ultimately, we'd like to see that as a part of the design and change that traffic, clean up some of that visual clutter. We think it'll make it safer traffic-wise.
Has that road been reopened?
It's closed most of the time. It's barricaded, just with barricades. I think it's barricaded now.
I believe it's open right now.
Oh, is it? Well, when we were down there last week, it was barricaded, so I think it's barricaded about as much as it's open. About the only traffic that goes through there are people that are actually in there for maintenance in the park, and would probably consider leaving some of that open for maintenance purposes, but would like to see it cleaned up. Right now, it's just a hodgepodge of signs and street poles. It's not very attractive. As you walk along Belknap during the day or drive along Belknap, you can see a number of people actually using the park, but it's mostly along the Belknap edge, and that's largely due to the topography. The park falls off real quickly. There's not really any place to sit. It's not very inviting because of that. You could sit on the grass, but you do see people sitting up along the street there or enjoying the trees across because of the people that park right there. It's the grades, the traffic, and of course some of the high traffic volume through this site and that cross street make it a less attractive site for pedestrian use and for park users. We think the historic campus itself and the bluff in the downtown, this whole thing deserves a better park and a more usable park for primarily people that are coming to the county campus, as David said. It's really a beautiful space. There's some mature trees, and obviously these trees have really taken over that space over the years, and that'll require some dramatic work in order to save the trees with the grades to make it work. But this is an important site, and we'd like to see it improved so that people can use it and enjoy it. Approximately a quarter is owned by Tarrant County currently, the western quarter, and the rest is owned by the city. It's almost an acre in size, represents the front door, obviously, of the whole county campus from the north. It's a very important approach to downtown from the stockyards. There's no pedestrian amenities, as I said, such as seating or lighting or trash receptacles, any of those kinds of things. We'd like to see it improved, and we've budgeted $25,000 in the PID funding for improvements to the park for this year, which we're willing to use as a part of the kickoff for some of the early work on the park. Gideon Toll has worked with the park just trying to help come up with some concepts on how we might improve the park to get these. And in the process, the Urban Design Committee actually found these designs for the original park design in 1936, and only that center portion was built. And we've kind of come up with the thought that we'd like to see the same geometric shape used as was proposed in 96 and in 36, except that where some of the planters and hedges and things are, we would actually do seating and maybe make that like a decomposed granite, which would be accessible, but where you'd have a seating area in there rather than just all grass. It'd also cut down on the maintenance and watering, some other things, but it would make it very usable where those large arcs are on either side. But because of the maturity of the trees and the way the site was developed originally, there would have to be some change in those levels, and we would have to accommodate those with ramps and some other things. So that's all part of the consideration. But after we looked at it, we thought it'd be fantastic to go back to the original design. So that kind of led us to the thought that, we would like to really try to preserve some of the original work that was done, but a lot of it is obviously over the last 70 or 80 years has deteriorated and needs some restoration work, which is not inexpensive. But we'd like to see that saved rather than tearing it all out. So there's really two pieces to this project. As you look at it, the two pieces are obviously, there's actually three. The improvements on Belknap that we're proposing to help with the pedestrians, the 1936 restoration and new proposed work in the park itself, and then the third piece is really everything north of that you inquired about, Judge, that is in the triangle. We would like to close that. You could still make it where it's all pavers, where all the street is now, but it requires some extensive work. There's like 8 or 10 manholes out there. There's some terrible light poles out there that could be taken down. We're suggesting putting a planter out on that north point, so as you come up, it's much nicer to see, but also it helps direct traffic away from that. You can actually see that street as you come up there, and it's really kind of confusing for people approaching from that direction. What we would propose that you ramp up, and that would be like a plaza, a pedestrian plaza, with brick pavers where maintenance trucks could pull up on it, and if somebody got distracted or pulled up on it, it wouldn't hurt anything, but it wouldn't be for primary traffic circulation. To that end, the improvements on the upper part, are going to represent a significant amount of in the area of maybe $500,000 to $600,000. North of that for the point, just because of all the utilities, the storm sewer relocation, lighting, those sort of things, it represents about an equal amount. So we're willing to tackle whatever that the county would be willing to tackle in terms of designing it and trying to get it underway, and we'd be happy to do it in phases or any little piece of it that you guys saw fit. But we'd like to just get it started on the process of improving it over the next few years so that it becomes an asset rather than sort of a forgotten front door of the county complex.
Are you proposing that the city, if we're going to take that over, are you proposing that the city donate that land to the county?
I'm not involved in the details of that, the mechanics of that, but I think what they're proposing is, and by the way, the council is receiving a concurrent presentation you all are getting at the same time
So we got
today.
They got told?
They've been told today that this is being proposed. I think what we're proposing is a long-term lease for a minimal amount, just to turn it over to the county more or less.
That's what we're looking at, like $1 a year for 50 years, something like that.
Is this in either of the TIF districts?
It is, but we're proposing, it's in the Public Improvement District, and we're proposing to spend PID funds on it. It's the first project like this that we've actually proposed budgeted PID funds for.
So what are you looking for from us?
Well, one, we just wanted to vet the idea with you and let you all consider it, and I'm going to maybe let David Phillips or...
One of the things that I would at least like to have thought about as you look at this is looking, right now you're moving from 2 lanes coming north to 3 lanes and maybe even 4 as it approaches Belknap. Over here you've got 4 narrowing down very quickly to 2. I would like to, as you make those, as we look at improving that little triangle and moving around that we consider at least 3 lanes. Eventually build that, I think eventually we might look at that bridge as, I know I'm still hoping that I can get 3 lanes either direction across that, the Trinity there, but.
Well, we looked at several options. Obviously it would take some traffic investigation, but it might be that you could even take some of that property to narrow that back into the park and just narrow it to 2, and then on this side help make that parking there on on Commerce, I guess it is, safer by narrowing the street, and creating a dog ear on the corner. And that traffic gets a little confused when people park on that corner right there, between people turning and then people parking on both sides. We could actually probably improve that intersection by doing that. And I'm not the traffic expert, but we talked about that, where that's striped, of taking that back into the park area. Of course, that's an additional expense because you're changing the drainage and some other things, but over time, it's something we could sure look at incorporating, and you could do that on the other side as well.
Phillips?
Judge, I think the next steps is to move forward on an interlocal agreement with the City of Fort Worth, if the court would like, and also get with Randy Gideon about phasing the project and requesting in the facilities management capital budget for fiscal year 09 maybe the first phase of the project and those dollars associated with that.
Well, has anybody taken a look at what our overall expense of this might be?
Well, the overall expense will be whatever the court would like as far as the capital improvements, the maintenance cost. I'm unsure right now. We are getting some costs as far as the landscaping. I'm not sure of the final design, so I won't be able to provide the final cost. But if we maintain it to the level that we maintain the other downtown properties, where we police the area every morning, we wash down the sidewalks in the evenings and mornings, I suspect we'll be doing the same thing at Patty Park. And that will be extension of our contract labor staff, basically, what would that be?
I'd like an idea what the capital cost is going to be and what the proposed plan is. If you're asking us for action today.
No, sir, I'm not. I think the overall capital cost is $1.2 million, and that would include that little triangle at the north side and complete improvement of that. And we can, like Randy said, we can move at a phased effort over several years and make some just initial improvements to the park, maybe just for $200,000 to $300,000. That we have to raise some sewer and utility lines to get the elevations correct. I think that's the start of it.
Our goal today was simply to bring this to you as a discussion issue, and there's going to be a lot of information that we need to get to you yet, and we're not asking you for any formal action on this at all today.
Yeah, and I guess from my perspective, I would like to have control over that just because of the fact that it has such a impact. Whatever goes there has an impact in the view of the courthouse as you're coming from the north side into downtown.
Which is the best view.
I don't know. I could argue that Main Street looks pretty good from the other direction too, but
What we can do is when we bring back the interlocal agreement is to bring back a more detailed and final budget at that time.
Would we be better served to, instead of doing a lease, to actually own it?
We've discussed that with the city of Fort Worth. They didn't seem that that's something that the city council would do.
You know, we can have those discussions with the city. Their initial take on it was a long-term lease, basically. But if there's some interest there, we can at least find out the costing on it.
refresh my memory, who owns that park right across the street from the
Heritage? You're talking about Heritage Park?
city owns that one?
City owns that one, yes, sir.
Well, it concerns me a little bit what I heard Randy saying up here a while ago, that there's manholes out there, there's poles, there's, I just see that old cash register running here. For us to clean up something for the city of Fort Worth and then pay them $1 a year for a lease, or $1 for however long you're proposing we lease it from them. So I just think there's a lot of questions that I have before I'm ready to take any action. Serious actions on it.
There are a lot of questions, but I'd like to see us proceed to try to answer those questions and kick the tires and see if this is something that we need to do.
It might be beneficial if we get you all that information before we bring an interlocal to you. If we'll probably set this up for another briefing and try to answer some of the questions that you've raised today, Commissioner.
It could be a fantastic enhancement to our courthouse.
Absolutely.
And what we're going to do on the west side, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense, but we just need to figure out what we're buying into.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, that's all we have this morning.
Anything else? Commissioner Pickens?
Yeah, I wanted to just mention, when we were talking about the disaster problems from the storms, Precinct 3 back on April the 10th, when we had the storms on the morning of the 11th, I called the city manager in Hearst and said, "You need any help?" And he called back about 30 minutes later and says, "Yeah, we need a lot of help." Our precinct, our maintenance facility, and Neil is here, Neil Welch, and we have worked probably for the last 2.5, 3 weeks in Hearst, Bedford. We cleaned up the Bedford Cemetery and then all over Bedford, Richland Hills, Watauga, Northwestern Hills, and cleaning up debris, helping the power companies restore power, and working with, I guess, it's Allied Waste and in their endeavor to get things cleaned up. And our guys in Precinct 3 at the maintenance facility did an absolutely wonderful job. And it's been very appreciated from those cities. So I just wanted to mention that with Carolyn's coordinating it and Neil coordinating it, it really has made a difference for those cities, because they were in a, city of Hearst was in a jam. So, did you lose power, Judge? No?
No, we were pretty fortunate from that standpoint. Our church lost power for 2 or 3 days down in the southern part from that standpoint. Thank you. Anything else? The Commissioners' Court will now recess the open session and proceed to closed session to discuss items exempted under Sections 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code.